means I played pro baseball. I was the first African American to play pro baseball. I was born on January 31st, 1919. My grandparents were slaves. I was not. I had some brothers and sisters. One of my brothers was Mac. He won silver in the 200-yard dash in the USA, in the Olympics for the USA. I played NFL football, but I had to stop for World War II. Some African Americans wanted to be a general. I was one of them. But I got into a fight, so I had to go to court, hoping to be guilty and innocent. I was innocent. But I was in the military from 1942 to 1944. I played Negro baseball. A few months later, the Dodgers coach asked me to sign for the Brown Dodgers. I said yes. He said there are no Brown Dodgers, so I knew it must be the actual Dodgers. He wants me to play for the Dodgers. The first game I played, I got really scared, but I got over it. The next year, I was not in good shape, but I got back in shape with exercise. A few years later, I quit so I could spend more time with my family. A few years later, my son died in a car accident on his way to our house. Shortly after, I died from a heart attack. Some of my famous words were, I cannot stand and sing the anthem. I cannot salute the flag. I know I am a black man in a white world. I changed the world by segregating the sport of... I changed the world by breaking Major League Baseball's color barrier. I've segregated the sport for more than 50 years now. Now people of all colors can play the wonderful sport of baseball together.
I was a slave from 1806 to 1826. Life as a slave was hard. I had to work non-stop and was sold 4 times. One of my owners was an Englishman, and he did not like that I could not speak English, so he beat me. I still learned English, so this would end. I married another slave, Thomas, when I was an adult. We had 5 children, but sadly one did not make it. At the age of 86, I died on November 26, 1883 from old age, but I had a long, wonderful life. As a slave, I was able to help in the fight to end slavery. When the Civil War started in 1861, I urged men to join the Union Army and get things for the black troops. After the war, I got an invitation to the White House and became involved with the Freedmen's Bureau, helping freed slaves find jobs and build new lives. It was an honor to help these freed slaves. One thing you may not know about me is that I went to court once and won. I went to court because my 5-year-old son was sold across the state lines to Alabama. This broke my heart. Selling slaves across the state lines in New York was illegal, so I went to court to fight for my son back and won. Peter returned to New York soon after the court case. The world is different today because I helped end slavery. Without my hard work and dedication, slavery may still be going on today in America. The world back then was very different from what it is today. We are blessed to now live in a free country. I would like to leave this with you today. Truth is powerful and it prevails.
I was born on January 29th, 1954 in Costell, Mississippi. I did not get married. I am still happily living at the age of 68. As a talk show host, I was able to transform the television show industry by creating a show that was inviting to all people, no matter their race or ethnicity. I was honored to receive the Presidential Medal of Freedom in 2013. I also won the CCB DeMille Award
When I got the CCBD Male Award in 2018, I became the first Black woman to receive this award, and I was also the 15th woman ever to receive this honor since it was first handed out in 1950. One thing you may not know about me is that I was crowned Miss Black Tennessee in 1972 at age 17. I received a full scholarship to Tennessee State University, where I majored in speech and communications and performing arts. This competition allowed me to work towards my dream of becoming a talk show host. The world is different today because I inspired girls like me to follow their dreams and never give up no matter what. One thing I would like to leave you with today is anything you can imagine, you can create.
Michael Jackson. I was a famous singer from 1966 to 2009. I was born on August 29th, 1958, Gary, Indiana. I died on June 25th, 2009 in Los Angeles, California when I was 50 years old. I first married Lisa Presley in 1994 when I was 35. I then married Debbie Rowe in 1996 when I was 38. Debbie and I had 2 children named Paris and Prince. I then had another child named Prince Michael II. I began singing and performing with my family group called the Jackson 5 when I was only 8 years old. I then moved on to being a solo singer. As a singer, I was able to accomplish getting a solo career and becoming one of the biggest stars in music. I had a number of solo albums. At first, I didn't kick off, but I had a few hits like Ben, Gotta Be There, Thriller, and Beat It. I also won 13 Grammy Awards in my solo career. One interesting fact about me that you might not know about me is that I had 2 pet llamas named Lola and Lewis. The world is different today because I helped complete the desegregation of popular music in the United States. That's the end of my story. There's my poster.
Eddie Carson left me and my mom when I was young. Later, my mom married an unemployed man named Arthur Martin. I was married 4 times. I first married Willie Wells in 1919 to 1919. This was a brief marriage because I did not need a man's support. I then married American William Howard Baker. From 1921 to 1925, I decided to keep William's last name. I then married Jean Lyon from 1937 to 1940. With him, I was able to obtain my French citizenship. My last marriage was to a French orchestra leader, Joe Bouillon, from 1947 to 1961. Joe and I adopted and raised 12 children from across the great world. I called them the Rainbow Tribe. On April 12, 1975, I passed away from old age. One of my major accomplishments was being a dancer. I participated in many vaudeville shows, which was a popular theater genre in the 20th century. I then moved on to perform in New York City, where I participated in the celebration of Black life and art that is known as the famous Harlem Renaissance. This success took me to the wonderful city of Paris, France. Along with being a dancer, I was a World War II spy. I worked in the Women's Auxiliary Air Force as a sub-lieutenant. I was also considered an honorable correspondent for the French Resistance, where I used my sheets of music to smuggle secret messages. One thing you may not know about me is that I was awarded the Medal of Resistance with Rosette and named a Chevalier of the Legion of Honor by the French government for my hard work and dedication. This all led me to come to the United States in the 50s and 60s to help fight racism. Another thing you may not know about me is I danced in a musical called Shuffle Along. This was a musical comedy and featured an all-black cast. The world is different today because I helped stop World War II and used my my thing to help fight against racism towards African Americans.
My name is Frederick Douglass. I was an abolitionist from 1841 to 1864. I was born in Talbot County, Maryland in 1818. I first married a woman named Anna in 1838, and we had 5 children: Charles, Lewis, Frederick Douglass Jr., Rosetta, and Annie. I then married Helen in 1884. When we did not have any children. I eventually passed away on February 20th, 1895 from either a stroke or a heart attack. As an abolitionist, I was able to help African American slaves become free and escape from harsh slavery. When I escaped slavery in Maryland, I became a national leader of the abolitionist movement in Massachusetts and New York. They always said that my writings and speeches were a big help in ending slavery in the United States. One of my most famous writings was an autobiography that I wrote about my life. People sure did love to read about me. One thing that you may not know about me is that I was nominated for Vice President of the United States in 1872. I was the first black man to ever be nominated. It was an honor. Another thing you may not know about me is that I was a consultant to the President Abraham Lincoln. As his consultant, I was able to convince President Lincoln to allow slaves to become a part of the Union Army to help win the war. The world is different today because my words as a speaker and writer helped in the fight for equality.
Hi, my name is Harriet Tubman. I was one of the creators of the Underground Railroad from 1850 to 1860. I was born in March of 1822 in Maryland, USA. I married a man named John Tubman, who was a free black man in 1844. This was not legal back in that day. I later married a man named Nelson Davison in 1869. Nelson and I adopted a sweet girl named Jorty in 1874. I later died at the age of 93 on March 10th, 1913 of lung disease. I was buried with military honors and at Fort Hill Cemetery in Auburn, New York. Throughout my 93 years of my life, I was able to accomplish many things. As you may know, I was a slave for many years. I hated slavery, and I wanted to do something about it. So I helped run the Underground Railroad. The Underground Railroad was a passageway for slaves to escape to the north to be free from the harsh slave life in the south. I was what you call a creator of the railroad. As a creator, I helped free about 70 slaves win 13 missions. It was a horse to help free those slaves and to help them create their own lives. The world is different today because I risked my life to help free slaves from slavery. I feel like I had a major impact on helping end slavery in the United States.
Hello, my name is Lily Wickers. I was a civil rights leader from 1960 to 1999. I was born on September 8th in 1954. I married Malcolm Hall when I was only 15. We had 3 sons together, Sean, Craig, and Christopher, but Craig was killed in 2005 tragically. As of today, I'm still living and breathing on this wonderful earth. As a civil rights leader, I was able to accomplish being the first African American student to attend an all-white elementary school in New Orleans, Louisiana.
I was only 6 years old. This is a small little girl with a big dream. In order to get into William Frantz Elementary School, I had to take a test and get all the questions correct, and I got them all correct. I did it, being the first student to go to an all-white elementary school. I was not treated fairly by other students or teachers, but there was one teacher who was very kind to me and actually wanted me in her class. Her name was Mrs. Henry. I loved that Mrs. Henry put me in her class.
All right, movie stars.
And just like everyone else, one thing you may not know about me is I won the Presidential Citizen Medal in 2001 from President Bill Clinton. I won this medal because President Clinton thought that I was an outstanding citizen for being brave and attending an all-white school in the 60s. And ever since attending that school, I have continued to fight for racial equal rights in the United States. The world is different today because I was an activist for Americans and helped to bring white and black students together forever because our differences make us stronger.